Hello everyone, welcome to IDLS Academy. Our lecture is Ecology of Microorganisms as it affects the pharmaceutical industry. We are studying this chapter since our last two lectures and this is our part 3 regarding ecology of microorganisms. We have covered almost a lot of things regarding ecology of microorganisms. Now we are going to study buildings. Although we have studied types of water and many other things that are responsible for the contamination and for the causing of disease and things where microorganisms can be present, we have covered. In this lecture, we will cover buildings. We will start with buildings and we will cover almost all things in this particular lecture. So, let's start. Buildings. First of all, we will see walls and ceilings. First point is molds are the most common flora of walls and ceilings, and the species usually found are Cladosporium species, Aspergillus species, in particular Aspergillus niger and Aspergillus flavus and Penicillium species. These are the most common flora of walls, or we can say that these are the most common microorganisms that can be present on walls and ceilings. They are particularly common in poorly ventilated buildings with painted walls. Next point is the organisms derive most of their nutrients from the plaster onto which the paint has been applied, and a hard gloss finish is more resistant than a softer or matte one. We can see that if there is softer paint applied on the walls, then it will not help the wall to get resistant from the microorganisms. Next point is to reduce microbial growth. All walls and ceilings should be smooth, impervious and washable, and this requirement may be met by cladding with a laminated plastic. Laminated plastic or plastic paint can help the wall to get resistant from the microorganisms. We can take an example like in areas where humidity is high, glazed bricks or tiles are the optimal finish, and where a considerable volume of steam is used, ventilation at ceiling level is essential. Next point is to add cleaning. All electrical cables and ducting for other services should be installed deep in cavity walls where they are accessible for maintenance but do not collect dust. Here it is also essential that all pipes which pass through walls should be sealed flush to the surface. Next is floors and drains. We will see how floors and drainage can help microorganisms to grow and survive. So, first point is to minimize microbial contamination, all floors should be easy to clean, impervious to water, and laid on a flat surface. These, these terms and conditions help minimize microbial contamination. Any joints in the floor necessary for expansion should be adequately sealed. The floor to wall junction should be cored. Next point is the finish of the floor usually relates to the process being carried out in an area where little moisture or product is liable to be split. Polyvinyl chloride welded sheeting may be satisfactory, but in wet areas or where frequent washing is necessary, brick tiles, sealed concrete, or a hard ground and polished surface like terrazzo is superior. In areas where acid or alkaline chemicals or cleaning fluids are applied, a resistant sealing and jointing material must be used. If this is neglected, the surface becomes pitted and porous and readily harbors microorganisms. Next point is where floor drainage channels are necessary, they should be open if possible, shallow, and also they should be easy to clean. Connections to drains should be outside areas where sensitive products are being manufactured and where possible drains should be avoided in areas where aseptic operations are being carried out. Next is doors, windows and fittings. These can also be part of contamination and these may be responsible for the growing of microorganisms and these can also contain disease causing microorganisms or we can say pathogenic microorganisms. First point is to prevent dust from collecting or ledges, doors and windows should fit flush with walls. In areas where aseptic operations are carried out, an adequate air control system other than windows is essential. Next point is overhead pipes in all manufacturing areas should be sited away from equipment to prevent condensation and possible contaminants from falling into the product. Unless neglected, stainless steel pipes support little microbial growth, but lagged pipes present a problem, and unless they are regularly treated with a disinfectant, they will support mold growth. Now we are going to study about equipments. The following points are common to many pieces of plant and serves as a general guide to reduce the risk of microbial colonization. First point is all equipment should be easy to dismantle and clean. Second point is all surfaces which are in contact with the product should be smooth, continuous, and free from pits, with all sharp corners eliminated and junctions rounded or curved. All contact surfaces require routine inspection for damage, particularly those of lagged equipment and double-walled and lined vessels. Since any crack or pinholes in the surface may allow the product to seep into an area where it is protected from cleaning and sterilizing agents and where microorganisms may grow and contaminate subsequent batches of products. Third point is there should be no inside screw threads and all outside threads should be readily accessible for cleaning. And fourth point is coupling nuts on all pipework and valves should be capable of being taken apart and cleaned. Fifth point is agitator blades and the shaft should preferably be of one piece and be accessible for cleaning. If the shaft is packed into a housing and this fitting is within a manufacturing vessel, it also may act as a reservoir of microorganisms. Point 6 is mechanical seals are preferable to packing boxes since packing material is usually difficult to sterilize and often requires a lubricant which may gain access to the product. The product must also be protected from lubricant used on other moving parts. Seventh point is valves should be of a sanitary design and all contact parts must be treated during cleaning and sanitation. And a wide variety of plug type valves are available for general purpose use. For aseptically manufactured and filled products, valves fitted with steam barriers are available. Point 8 is all pipelines should slope away from the product source and all process and storage vessels should be self-draining. Run-off valves should be as near to the tank as possible and sampling through them should be avoided since any nutrient left in the valve may encourage microbial growth which could contaminate the complete batch. Point 9 is if a vacuum exhaust system is used to remove the air or steam from a vessel, it is necessary to clean and disinfect all fittings regularly. So, now we will study disinfection and sterilization. First point is equipment may be sterilized or disinfected by heat, chemical disinfection, or a combination of both. While in the case of water disinfection, we have studied chemicals, filtration, and UV radiation. Many tanks and reaction vessels are sterilized by steam under pressure, and small pieces of equipment and fittings may be autoclaved, but it is important that the steam has access to all surfaces. Next point is the method of disinfection may be by total immersion for small objects or by spraying the internal surfaces of larger equipments. When plant is dismantled for cleaning and sterilizing, all fittings such as couplings, valves, gaskets, and O-rings also require treatment. Next point is all disinfection and sterilization processes for equipment should be validated for preference using a microbiological challenge with an organism of appropriate resistance to the disinfectant, sterilant, or sterilizing conditions. Now we are going to study microbial checks. We will see what are microbial checks. First point is either as part of an initial validation or as an ongoing exercise, the efficacy of CIP systems can be checked by plating out a sample of the final rinse water with a nutrient agar or by swab test. Swabs may be made of either sterile cotton wool or calcium alginate. Next point is swabs are useful for checking the cleanliness of curved pieces of equipments, pipes, orifices, valves, and connections. But unless a measuring guide is used, the results cannot be expressed quantitatively. The agar is usually poured into specially designed petri dishes or contact plates, or is in the form of a disc sliced from a cylinder of a solid nutrient medium. Next point is the development of methods for the rapid detection of microorganisms has advantages over more traditional methods. We can say that rapid detection of microorganisms are more advantageous than traditional methods. Here comes the cleaning equipments and utensils. How we can clean our equipments and utensils used in any program or any laboratory culture technique. Point 1 is the misuse of brooms and mops can substantially increase the microbial count of the atmosphere by raising dust or by splashing with waterborne contaminants. Hospital trials have shown that when used, a neglected dry mop redistributes microorganisms which it has picked up. But a neglected wet mop redistributes many times the number of organisms it picked up originally because it provides a suitable environment for their growth. So we can say that misuse of brooms and mops can increase the count of microorganisms many folds. So they must be kept safe and sterilized. Next point is many chemical disinfectants, in particular the halogens, some phenolics and QACs, are inactivated in the presence of organic matter, and it is essential that all cleaning materials such as buckets and fogging sprays are kept clean. Here, halogens rapidly deteriorate at their use dilution levels. So thank you very much guys for watching this session. We have covered almost all things regarding ecology of microorganisms. You can follow ITLS Academy on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp and LinkedIn. You can subscribe ITLS Academy on YouTube, and you can also get the app of ITLS Academy on Google Play Store. So thank you very much again for watching this particular lecture. You guys like, share and subscribe ITLS Academy, and you can also call for any help or any query on this number, that is 7080833450. You can also visit the website of ITLS Academy, that is www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you very much again for watching this session.